Okay.
Hello.
Okay, we're doing this. This is Olivia. I'm Carly. I don't know where you're watching this, but...
This is Cyrus.
And this is Charlotte. She's out cold.
Yeah.
For now.
If we're talking kind of quiet, let us know.
Yeah, if you can't hear us. If anyone watches this, if you can't hear us, let us know. Okay, so we just wanted to get on here and maybe be like a resource for anybody who is having a baby soon, is thinking about having a baby, and also for people who have had babies and been like, what the frick is going on? Mm-hmm. You're not alone. We're here.
Yeah. Yes. So we thought we'd start by talking about our birth experiences.
Yeah.
You go first.
Okay. So in the beginning I chose to go with the midwives at Valley OB, which if you're not familiar with them, you deliver at a hospital still. It's a regular doctor's office, but they are midwives, so it's more like you have a lot more say. They're more willing to listen to your birth plan. And then if something happens, like while you're in labor, you're at a hospital and there's like doctors, they'll call in a doctor. So if you have to have a C-section or your baby's breech or whatever, there's doctors there that can come in and help you. So I loved all the midwives. There was 5 of them that I met with. And at my 38-week appointment, they told me I had high blood pressure. And they said, if you start feeling like XYZ, just go into labor and delivery. You're far enough along, like we don't want to risk it. So Saturday, we went all day. Saturday I woke up and I just like knew. I was like, today I have to get everything done that I need to get done before the baby comes. And we like went about our day as usual. We got our car seat installed. We did like all of these last minute things. And Saturday night I was feeling really sick. And I called my mom and I called my sister, and my sister had high blood pressure too. So I was asking her like, how does it feel? When do I go in? And they both said, just go in. So we went in kind of hoping they would just say, you're fine, go home, wait 2 more weeks.
Wait, and you were just feeling crappy? That was your only real
Yeah,
symptom
so
that
like
you were feeling.
some of the symptoms are like you have a headache that won't go away, you feel super tired, you get blurred vision, just kind of like not good. And you don't really get like nauseous. It's not like something like turns green, so you know.
Because that's kind of how you feel during pregnancy. Anyways.
Yeah, and that totally
yeah.
is it. Like I really was hoping they would just say like, you're being a baby, you're just pregnant, like go home, sleep it off. But no. So we were there for like an hour and a half, and they came in and they said, we're just gonna keep you and we're gonna induce you, which wasn't in my birth plan, but I had a really open birth plan. I just wanted a healthy baby, so I was fine with it. So they induced me, and like really long story short, I waited 24 hours, so I got my epidural, and I was like feeling contractions, and they checked me after 24 hours, and Charlotte was breech, and it was like 3 o'clock in the morning, and they said, okay, well, we're gonna do a C-section, but we'll wait probably until the morning. And I was like, okay, cool, I can like get some sleep. So they went and called the doctor, and the doctor's like, no, let's just do the C-section now. So they came back at 3:30, and they're like, your C-section scheduled for 3:45. So I had like 15 minutes to just like, we're having a baby. And it wasn't even like 15 minutes of like quiet time with me and Josh to like talk it out. It was like 15 minutes. They're like shaving your body, cleaning you, like upping your epidural, all of these things. And yes, I was having a C-section, which I also was like fine with. I thought about that as an option, and I was like, okay, it's fine, my baby's gonna be healthy, it's fine. But the epidural had made me kind of nauseous, like I'd thrown up a couple of times before that. And then we went into the C-section, and they cut me open, and I just started like throwing up. Like I can't stop. I'm like strapped to a table, so I can't sit up. I literally think I'm gonna like asphyxiate. Is that how you say that word?
Yeah, I think so.
Anyways, I thought I was gonna die. And anyway, so the C-section took like 30 minutes, and we had a healthy, happy baby. And yeah, that was it. And I like didn't really think it was traumatic until now.
Which I think let's talk about in the postpartum.
Yeah, which we'll talk about, because it's just like a whirlwind. Like, you don't even have time to process it.
Yep. Which is why we're talking about this.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else you want to share?
No, I think that's it. Yeah.
And your baby is now how old?
And Charlotte is 6 weeks.
So that was only 6 weeks ago.
Yep.
Oh my god. Okay, so Cyrus is now 4.5 months. So
Sleeping through the night. Hallelujah.
Thank you. Seriously, feel so blessed. Oh, some spit. Oh. Yep. Let's see. Okay. So, okay. We started with an OB, and I wanted to do an unmedicated hospital birth, and so when I talked to my OB about that, she just wasn't supportive and kind of shut me down really fast and hard, and that made me feel very unsafe and unsupported. So I just, in my high anxiety pregnancy brain, was like, we need to find someone else ASAP. So I went to the other extreme and started looking at midwives and birthing centers, and my husband and I should say. And we met with a few, but we found Utah Birthing Suites or Songbird Midwifery with Melissa Chapel. And we sat down with her and asked her all the questions in the whole world. She was so sweet to answer all of them. And I was like, this is it, this is her. And so then that's when we switched to a birthing center. And we're almost done with my pregnancy at the point that Clint, my husband, and I decided that there wasn't really much of a difference between birthing at home and birthing at the birthing center, because the midwife group brings everything that you would use at a birthing center to your home, and we also live close to a hospital, so it would be a quick, easy transfer if need be.
Oh, sorry, Josh is home.
Hey Josh.
We're live on Instagram. You better go watch it.
So we decided to do it at home, and so I was 5 days over our due date. Well, 3 days over, I started laboring, going into early labor every night when the sun would go down, and have contractions all through the night, and they would stop in the morning when the sun would come up. They were pretty easy to sleep through, so it wasn't that big of a deal. But still, what the heck? But it was more like, please be the real thing, dang it. But it wasn't. So then I actually went into real labor. Well, at like 3 o'clock in the morning, I woke up and I was like, these contractions are getting stronger and I can't work through them in bed anymore. So I got out of bed, I got on my birthing ball, listened to my meditations, and then woke up my husband and said, I think this is the real thing. And then had some other signs signifying that this was the real thing. So called my birth team, and they came over, and it happened really fast from there. When I started active labor, it was only 4 hours of active labor and then an hour of pushing before he was born. And he was born in the tub.
And you didn't have them check you, right? So I don't know how far along you were when you started.
No, I didn't have them check me. But
which, that is an option.
Yeah.
Like, don't let them tell you that they have to check you. They don't.
Right. I chose not to, just because you could be at a 4, dilated to a 4 for weeks and weeks and weeks, right? Mm-hmm. And so I just could not handle the false hope. That, and maybe some other reasons that my midwife encouraged me to not be checked until I really felt like I needed to be checked. Anyway, so my midwife, she actually, don't want to say didn't believe me, but first time moms usually labor for a really long time, and we think that it's like happening right then and there when really you have like 18 more hours to go. So she was like, let your doula come over and help you out. And so when she came over, she was like, I was on my way to the gym, thought I'd just stop by and see how you're doing. And she listened to me and watched me through future contractions. Was like, oh, let's check you. And when she checked me, I was 7 centimeters. And she's like, there's his head. We need to get the rest of your birth team here and your pool filled up. So yeah, he was born in the pool, fast and furious. And then we just got to stay at home. And I did have some tearing, but my midwife stitched me up right there on my bed. So...
Did she numb you before she stitched you up?
She sprayed me with a little numbing and then gave me a few shots. But that skin down there, if you know, ladies, it's very sensitive and thin, so didn't feel like much. The whole time.
You didn't feel it?
No. The numbing didn't feel like much.
Oh.
I felt it. I said all throughout getting stitched up, which was like 30-40 minute ordeal. I was like,
oh my gosh,
I'd rather be doing this than pushing out a baby. I'd rather be doing this than pushing out a baby.
Did you believe
But in
that?
hindsight, I think I'd rather push out my baby again.
Yes. Okay.
So.
Yeah. Well, we both survived.
Yeah.
And we have happy babies.
Yeah.
And, okay, so talk to me about your doula. What was the purpose of your doula?
Oh my gosh, well...
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, I just gagged my child with the binky.
I highly recommend a doula. I mean, my husband was so great, and we went to a birthing class, and he learned great laboring techniques, and he knew all of my birth affirmations, but this is his own experience too, you know, he's caught up in everything going on as well, and so it's nice to have somebody like between us, you know, to like say,
you knew what was going on, like this is normal. Yeah,
husband, here's what you can do, here's what will be helpful, and Olivia, you're doing great, and what do you need, and boss me around, you're paying me for that. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, is that
Did your doula help with postpartum at all? Like, did she come back in and check on you, or was it just for the birth?
My midwife and doula, you know, I mean, there's like set like 24 hours, 72 hours, but I mean, they became my friends because we would spend like an hour, every appointment, and so like, I love those women. But yeah, I mean, technically she wasn't a postpartum doula, which... Let's just get some more of those in the world, please.
Yes. Okay.
So yeah.
Okay, so now we're just gonna go through like the stages and answer the questions that we got, and then maybe give some like advice / hindsight what we would do different maybe.
Yeah. Maybe to help you, but I also think this is very therapeutic for ourselves.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
If you're in this stage, go and talk to somebody too.
Yeah.
This is good for us.
Yeah.
Anyways. Okay.
So pregnancy. We both had like, I mean, we weren't like high risk pregnancies. We both threw up a lot.
Yeah, we both had to be on some anti-nausea.
Yeah, we did have. So if you're throwing up, just ask for some
No shame.
Yeah.
Especially because we were both working. You were still going to school.
I was going to school. I was in my last semester, like trying to graduate. And working part-time. Liv was working.
But the thing, sorry, this is a tangent, but the thing with my anti-nausea, it didn't take away my nausea, but it kept me from throwing up, which also was still worth it for me, but.
Yeah. And my nausea was just like, I just gagged a lot, and I didn't really feel sick. I would just gag, and then that would make me throw up. So a lot of times they couldn't really give me anything for it. But, okay, the questions we got about pregnancy was, we got some questions about maternity clothes, which I am horrible to ask because I didn't really buy any. I had like 2 pair of maternity jeans, and I just wore regular leggings, and I would just buy regular clothes, but like buy them 2 sizes bigger. And bought some really stretchy jumpsuits, and that was it.
Which is so great because you save so much more money that way.
Yeah, pregnant or maternity clothes are not attractive. They're really expensive, and then you feel awkward wearing them after because it's like you have all this extra fabric for a belly that you don't have anymore. And also just know...
Or that sometimes you still do have.
You do have, but it's not like there's not a baby.
Yeah, there you go.
So you don't want it to be like on display with a cute bow or, you know.
Those things you on the side.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would say just look for clothes that are flowy and comfortable and that you can wear after, because your body is still changing after you have a baby.
Yeah.
Did you get any questions about?
Oh, motherhood sometimes has good sales. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
So if you're going to go spend money, go to like ThreadUp, the secondhand online stuff, or go find the sales.
Okay, something that I wish I would have done during my pregnancy. Well, one thing I did that I really think was good was I listened to podcasts of women just telling their birth stories. And I think that was really good for me because there's no birth story is exactly the same, and things happen because it's your body and you've never done this before and your body's never done this before. So I listened to a ton of labor stories, and I think that really helped me say like, okay, a happy and healthy baby really is the goal, and there are things that I want to happen, but if they don't happen, it's okay. There are a lot of ways to get my happy and healthy baby here.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of different scenarios that can happen that you can still feel happy and grateful and excited about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. One thing I wish I would have done differently is focused more on what I needed postpartum, because there's tons and tons and tons of focus on labor because you're bringing a life into the world, but then you have this baby and they hand it to you and you're like, cool, now what? Like, what do I do? And how do I take care of myself? Because like for me, I had a major surgery, and for Liv, she had this huge shock to her body and without any medicated help. So yeah, you need a plan to take care of yourself too.
Yeah. Going along with listening to like birth stories, asking people if you're in a place where you want to ask people, because some people tell you some crazy stuff, but asking people or listening to like the birth hour or those kind of podcast stories, watching birth videos, I loved and thought was super helpful, and it made me excited and gave me some more information, and normalized birth for me. I felt like I was already a person who birth was pretty normalized for, because whatever,
your situation.
But at the same time, there's still so much we can learn and appreciate about birth. Another thing that I did, my husband and I went to a birthing class, which I know for some parents that's just a waste of time and money. Anyways. But I felt like the birth that I really wanted to have, I needed a little more extra information and education and tools to cope. So anyways, but that was really, really empowering for me. So that's the Curtis method. That's the class that we took, and it was really great.
One word of advice that I have is when you tell people you're pregnant, women will just give you advice. Like, here we are just giving you unsolicited advice, right? So I would say, just like you do with any part of your life, create a circle of people that you love and trust that have gone through this experience, and those are the people that you take advice from. And those are the people you ask the really hard questions to, because you'll get advice from everyone. And some of the advice will be helpful, and some of the advice will make you think, what am I doing? And yeah, you need like a sounding board of people that you love and trust that you can talk to.
Yeah, and regardless, even if you have that sounding board, people are still going to give you things. So create boundaries for yourself, Yes. Yeah. Wow, that was hard. That was hard during pregnancy.
Yeah, it's hard to get advice because you know you don't know what you're doing, but you also like want to just trust yourself and trust the instincts that you've been given. But anyway, moving on. to birth.
Let me see if we have any other
Oh, yeah.
questions about. Well, okay, how do you prepare for pregnancy?
Oh, how do you prepare?
You get the flu for like 9 months.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
You gag yourself with your toothbrush every morning. Just kidding. I would say talk to your partner and make sure that you're both on the same page.
Yeah.
Because I think Liv and I can both agree we wanted babies for a long time before our husbands were on the same page. And I think had we pushed and not let them come to the decision on their own, they wouldn't be the supportive husbands and dads that they are. And like, it's hard enough to have a baby, but I think there would be a lot of resentment if they weren't ready and they had a baby that they had to take care of.
Totally. I always tell people, like, if I got the baby at, okay, I don't want to offend anyone. If I got the baby I wanted, like I did at 6 months of being married, it would have been a whole different story. And granted, I know that people make it work and it's beautiful experiences for people if you've been married for however long or been together for however long. However, the time that we did get to have and the time that we took to get to know one another and learn how to support one another definitely prepared us for pregnancy, birth, and postpartum. So yeah, it just because my husband knows me, 3 years better and then he did at that point, and we definitely needed that.
Yeah, I would
Does that make
agree.
sense?
Yep. We probably don't have a lot of advice about like getting ready financially or that kind of stuff, because I feel like there's a ton of emphasis put on that, but like right now, like you just figure it out, and like money is the last thing you're worried about when you're throwing up every morning or having a baby at the hospital, or like that's probably one of the last things I worried about.
Yeah. There's also just like no perfect scenario and time, and you'll never fully be prepared for these experiences, but they can still be beautiful and empowering as you do your best.
And it's okay if you get pregnant and then you're like, what the crap did I do?
Yeah.
Can I take it back?
Yeah.
The answer is no, you can't take it back, but it's gonna be okay.
Definitely felt that. Yeah. And it's not, don't shame yourself for feeling that. Feel it.
Yes.
Feel it, because if you don't, it's going to come up later.
And talk to someone about it, too. There's no, like, find someone you love and trust that you can talk to. Okay, let's move on.
Okay.
To birth. Okay, I got a question about breastfeeding for the first time, which I feel like I could talk for hours and hours and hours about breastfeeding and about feeding your baby. But just, like, some background. My baby had jaundice, and so the way to get rid of jaundice is to just like feed them because it just needs to flush through their system. And at the hospital they were like, oh, formula is great, formula helps, like, sticks to the jaundice better or the bilirubin better, and it helps flush their system faster, which is totally true, and formula does do that. And so the emphasis was, for my experience, the emphasis was on getting Charlotte healthy and getting rid of the jaundice, and so we did that with formula and some breastfeeding, but it wasn't enough to really establish my supply. So even now we're still like supplementing with formula, which is fine, but I do wish that I had been better prepared for breastfeeding, and the way I'm gonna do that the next time is I'm gonna have a lactation consultant, someone I know already, that I've met with already. I'm having them come to the hospital and meet me there, because the hospital will send a lactation consultant to you, but you don't know this woman, you've never met with her before. My experience with that was awful. So I would just say, like, breastfeeding isn't like, oh, you just like whip your boob out and they latch and it's beautiful and you cry because you're like giving your baby life. It's not like that. And at one point I had like 2 nurses like shoving my boob in my baby's mouth. I had no idea what was going on, and then I like was like bleeding after. So just like, that's a little graphic, but just know breastfeeding doesn't come easy. It's okay if it doesn't come easy, but just know that there are tools that can help you.
Yeah. It's really tricky because we were talking about this before. How do you have this, like, I want to be positive and, like, really hope for something, but then also be like, I'll be okay if it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And here's my plan when it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because, I feel like I was modeled, I grew up with a large family, and by the time, I was really remembering my mom's births and postpartum, like, it was like second-hand nature to her. Is that second-hand nature?
Yeah, second nature.
Second nature.
Yeah.
So she just made it look like so freaking easy. Anyways, sorry.
Speaking of breastfeeding.
So that was really tricky to then be like, why is
Because
my
you
baby...
thought it would be so easy.
Yeah.
Like, your mom was a pro
Yes,
at that point.
yes.
And then you're like, I'm not.
Yeah.
It's not that easy. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's still not easy. And we used a nipple shield for the first, like, 3, maybe 2.5, 3 months. And I had a lot of shame about that because mom shame is real, but it was like, oh, you're getting your baby some breast milk, but they're not right on your breast and you still need assistance.
And they could be getting air through the nipple shield, which makes them gassy. Just know, like, if you are a person who is curious about how a woman is feeding her baby, just know that that woman has already felt shame no matter how she's feeding her baby. Like, even if breastfeeding came naturally to her, she is, like, feeling shame because of XYZ reason. Or if she's doing formula, she feels a ton of shame because formula isn't as good as breast milk, which is not true. Just know that, like, nothing you say can make her feel better about the decision that she's made because it's already been a struggle for her.
Yeah, so that was one of our questions of why is there such a stigma around pumping and formula feeding, and I just think it's another thing that we have to say about women's bodies and another opinion that people have and another way to control women. Yeah. So it's all wrong, but I get that it's really hard to, like, not listen to all those lies and the lies that we've grown up hearing, so that they're, like, already in our brains and our head. So just be so gentle and kind with yourself and kind with your baby. Your baby's learning too, and I don't know, find a good support system.
Yeah, I think it totally goes back to having a good support system, because I didn't know how normal it was for women to have to pump, even if you're breastfeeding your baby. And so when I had to pump to, like, get my supply up, or for a while we exclusively pumped and fed Charlotte a bottle, I felt a ton of shame about that, which is so stupid. And let me just tell you, we went to Charlotte's, like, 2-week appointment or whatever it is, and the doctor said, how are you feeding your baby? And I kind of, like, prepared myself to get, like, a lecture, and I said, we're doing breast milk and formula, I'm pumping, and we're supplementing with formula. And you know what the doctor said? Okay, great, what kind of formula are you using? Like, he cares that my baby is fed, I care that my baby is fed, and those are the only opinions that matter.
Yep. Yeah.
Yes.
Do you have anything else about breastfeeding?
I don't think so.
Breastfeed in public if you want to. Cover up in public if you want to. Leave the whole situation if you want to. Bring a bottle if you want to. Whatever. And if that changes day to day, great. Okay? So if you breastfeed in public without a cover one day, but then the next day you're like, I don't feel comfortable and I'm going to leave this situation, or I'm just going to cover up, do it. There's no shame in changing your mind and whatever.
Yes.
My kid's in the stage where he pulls off all the covers, so that's not a thing anymore, even if I wanted it to be.
And that's okay.
Yep.
And if you are uncomfortable when someone's breastfeeding, I would say you can leave. And if you're comfortable enough with that person, talk to them about it. Like, what is it like to breastfeed? How does it feel? Because I think that's why I was uncomfortable with uncovered breastfeeding, was it was just foreign to me. I didn't understand. So, like, talk about it. That's how you feel more comfortable with it. And also, if you are in the thick of it, just know there are resources out there. I paid to have a lactation consultant come to my house, and she was awesome, and it was a wonderful experience. And I did that just like a few weeks ago. So we had already been feeding this beautiful monster baby for 4.5, almost 5 weeks. So there are always options. Okay, I'm done on that soapbox.
Okay. Just kind of going back really quick. That one of the questions were, what are the best things for a support person to do during delivery?
Oh,
Whatever you want.
yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think, well, Liv kind of touched on this too, just like making sure you have a conversation about it. So Josh and I didn't have a conversation about what I needed from him. And when I got my epidural, I just sat there and I just sobbed. Like, I didn't have a lot of confidence in the anesthesiologist. It was really scary to me. I was exhausted, just like a really emotional moment. So I just sat there and I just sobbed. And Josh had the very best intentions, and he was like, "You're okay, you can do it, you can do it." And in that moment, I don't need to know that I can do it because I'm already doing it. Like, I just need him to just be there and to just hold my hand and not say anything, because when he says those things, it was like, it made me cry harder. So after that, I said, I just need you to just hold my hand, just be there. Like, I'm already having this inner monologue of, this is okay, I can do this, I trust my body. I just needed him to be there.
Yeah, I think that's when, like, listening to birth stories or watching birth videos or reading things really comes into play, because then you can see, oh, maybe that's going to work for me, and oh, that, I don't want that.
Yeah.
You know, and you can start imagining and almost like role playing and practicing and asking your support group or partner, what do you think you want to do? What do you think will feel comfortable to you? What do you imagine? Sorry. Anyways, so yeah, I think that was what was really helpful for my husband and I. It was like just laying in bed at night and just imagining what it could be like and what we want it to be like, and things that would be helpful. Because yeah, Clint didn't want to get in the bath with me. Like, he didn't want to get in the birthing tub with me, and I was like, great. Then I'm gonna need somebody else to be pushing on my hips for counter pressure or something, you know, which he ended up doing anyways, you know. Anyways,
yeah, just talk about it.
Yeah.
Any other questions about birth?
No, except for the loss. Should we talk about that?
Oh, yeah, you go ahead.
Okay. So we got a question about stillbirth and miscarriage and just overall loss in this journey to, yeah. I reached out to my sister-in-law who has experienced loss. And some of the things that she said, sorry, this kid's so tired, he hasn't napped. Some of the things that she said was, let yourself, whenever you feel ready, to feel all the emotions. Like, don't shame yourself for feeling angry or frustrated or even happy or relieved, or I don't know what those feelings may be for you, and they might change day to day, but feel them. And again, find a support group. Something else that she mentioned, was, yeah, I can do it in a second. Oh, thanks. Is you often get so nervous, like, what are people gonna, like, if they ask if I have kids, or is it gonna be weird if I say, yeah, I have some angel babies, or I've lost my kids, like, and you're worried that they're gonna feel uncomfortable and freak out, and but don't worry about what other people think or feel. Like, if you feel like you're ready to share your story, share your story. It's gonna be therapeutic and healing when you're ready to do that, and I think it teaches other people how to have conversations around that, because it is such a hush hush. We don't want to talk about hard feelings or scary experiences or those kinds of things. And you don't have to suffer in silence if you don't want to.
Yeah.
There really is people.
That's like the overarching theme of this is like, if your experience is not what you want it to be, there are options for you. And if you are feeling any sort of way, like there is help for whatever you're feeling. Just to go along with the week I found out I was pregnant, well, the very day I found out I was pregnant, I also found out that someone really close to me had a miscarriage, and that person I know had like struggled with infertility and is like the most deserving mother anyways. Mm-hmm. So I think it's okay to feel like you want to be so happy for yourself but you still feel sad for them. It's okay to feel like that. And I think one thing to just be mindful of is like those people deserve, if they're close to you, they deserve a little bit of extra like tender care. So what I did was I reached out to them before I told anybody else, and I just let them know, and I also let them know that like it was okay if they if they felt sad and happy at the same time, and it was okay that I felt that way too because I did.
Yeah. And I haven't experienced a miscarriage or a loss in that sense, so I'm all ears. Let me know what is best to talk or communicate, because I want to care and show that I care.
Yeah.
I don't want to hide away from those hard conversations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Also, sorry, something that was super, 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 super hard is having people ask me if I was pregnant before I was ready to tell people. Because that first trimester is so sensitive, and I had extremely high anxiety that I was going to lose this pregnancy because I had endometriosis, and I was just nervous that it wasn't going to stick. And so people who I didn't care to tell at that point, asking and bugging me about it, was very, very hard. So, and maybe I feel like it's a pretty common thing. Like,
you just get to a point in your marriage when everyone's like, "Okay, when are you gonna have a baby?" But it's none of your business. And I am like guilty of that. I remember Olivia and I were on a walk, and I asked when she was gonna have a baby, and
I
was like,
that you asked me.
She's like, "Well, I don't know how to tell you this, but." So I think if you know better, do better. And this is us telling all of you, it's not okay to ask when they're having babies. It's not okay to ask how they're feeding their baby unless you love and trust that person and you know that they love and trust you. So,
and you can say that. That's not okay to ask.
And okay, this is me 1000% on a soapbox. Don't ever ask a woman if she had a natural birth. Okay, like she grew a child in her belly. Mm-hmm. That's as natural as it gets.
And it came out.
And that's all you need to know.
Yeah.
Okay? You can ask if she had a medicated or an unmedicated birth, but again, that's none of your business. Mm-hmm. And you don't need to know anything about her body.
Yeah.
Don't say anything about her body. Unless you have seen her vagina, you don't deserve to know anything about anything. Okay? That's my soapbox. Thank you. Amen.
Yes. Amen. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I second all those things. Okay.
Okay,
I think this is the real
deal.
Showstopper right here.
To the 4 of you that have been here, thank you. Really, this has just been fun, I think, for me. Anyways, so if you don't enjoy it, too bad.
Yeah. And I hope you feel like you can ask questions as this is going.
Yeah.
We're trying to watch, but
I don't think I've seen any, but if you have questions, we would love them. Cyrus has a question, clearly. Okay, postpartum. Did we get questions?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Let's see. How have you handled the changes in your... I'm going to read them all. Okay. How have you handled the changes in your body and your self-esteem as it relates to your sexuality? Yeah. Why do so many people make postpartum look so glamorous? Why is there so much pressure, and how do you cope with postpartum? And
I think that was it.
oh, yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
But those are some
Really good ones.
yeah, and postpartum is just
Yeah.
we're in the thick of it.
So,
Okay, go.
well, let me just tell you about how your body changes. How my body changed, okay? So I went to my 38-week appointment, and I had my baby 3 days later. So they weighed me at my 38-week appointment, and I got weighed right after at my 2-week appointment. And in that time, I had lost like 45 pounds. Like, your body you just have to be so gracious to your body because it has gone through insane things. And my body went through probably a lot of shock and maybe some trauma. And I just had to be like so grateful for what it had done and so grateful for what it was doing, which was feeding my baby. And if your body doesn't deal with trauma that way, if your body deals with trauma by holding on to weight, that's okay too. And just be so grateful and gracious. And I don't have anything to say about the sexuality part. Like, I feel like it will just come. And your partner is hopefully just as grateful and gracious to your body as you are.
Yeah. Yes. So this is kind of the bit about Clinton.
Josh, Clint
Just
is watching,
in time,
and you're not.
This part about trauma. I was going to get my hair cut because I was like, my hair's falling out and I don't want to feel like I have 5 pieces of hair on my head, so could we just chop it all off? And as my hairdresser was cutting my hair, she said, this is really normal. Around 3 to 4 months is when your body will start processing and manifesting the trauma that you've experienced. And that was super hard for me to hear, super triggering, because I was like, I've had such a beautiful birth, and in my eyes and a lot of other people's eyes, it was pretty perfect. Like, it went really smoothly. So I hate saying that I experienced trauma during birth. And as I've come to process that, I've been more kind with the fact that it's okay that you experience trauma. Birth is a traumatic experience for women, and not in the most of the time not in the negative sense, meaning it's just physically traumatic. Like, your body does so much in such a short amount of time, really. Anyways.
And your hormones, I think, are a big part of the trauma, because, like, if you don't know, your hormones are all stored in your placenta, and then you give birth and that's all gone.
Yeah.
And so your body has to recover from that. And it's not easy.
Yeah. Yeah, so this might be a little TMI, but I realized, like, okay, this trauma's coming back in my life, and it reminded me of some other physical trauma that I have experienced, specifically in regards to my sexuality, and so those things feel very tied right now to me, and so I'm going back to therapy to kind of heal that pain and that trauma and work through it and process it. And that's kind of hard for me to admit, but at the same time, therapy is cool.
Yes.
Therapy is cool. So, okay, and then, if you don't mind, it's kind of segueing into, like, this changes with your sexuality. It is hard to feel like a sexy mom, plain and simple. So that's just a big, be patient, and don't be afraid to talk to your partner, explore, be excited and not excited for all of it. I don't know.
Yeah, and I think it also is important to remember, like, the purpose of sex in a marriage is to bond you and your spouse. So if you don't feel sexy, if it doesn't feel like, wow, you're just so excited for it, it's okay. Like, there are other reasons for it in a marriage. I don't know. Is that okay to say?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Crap. I had a thought and I just lost it.
Postpartum.
Are we done with
Trauma,
that?
sexuality.
You feel good? Have we covered that? I want to move on to visitors if you are.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Okay. Wow. When you have a new baby, everyone is so excited. And we're so grateful that you're so excited. When you have a new baby, do not hesitate to tell people no. Like, maybe TMI, I came home from the hospital on a Thursday, and by Friday, I, was sobbing uncontrollably, just, could not deal, I remember I was sitting on the couch in the front room, Josh had the baby in the bedroom, and I just looked at the door, and I thought I could walk out that door and just never come back. And just feel like, I honestly felt like I had ruined my life, I had ruined Charlotte's life, what had I done? And none of those things were me feeling that, it was just my body adjusting to the hormones. So, while you're in that stage, please, for the love of all that is holy, tell people no. You don't need to worry about people coming to your house and entertaining them and answering their questions when you are in such a, tender and vulnerable spot. And if you are a visitor, just please be so patient and so kind. The baby will still be beautiful and perfect and snuggly, even at 6 weeks, Charlotte slept through this whole thing. And yeah, just be so patient with them. Don't overstay your welcome. Babies need to eat every 2 or 3 hours, and
if you're staying 2 hours,
yeah, you gotta go, okay? Yeah, just be so kind and so patient, and don't you dare come or leave empty-handed. There's garbage to be taken out, there's caffeine that needs to be brought, there is something you can do for that mom, and even if she says no, just do it anyways. I told a million people no, and in hindsight I wish I would have been more vulnerable to say yes, but yeah, if you're visiting, just don't ever leave empty-handed. There's garbage to be taken out, there's dishes to wash, there's something to do.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, Liv, how did you? Oh, sorry,
no, go. No.
I was gonna switch topics if you had something else to say.
No, I just will say that get practice all you can before postpartum on still asking for help, because although we are hopeful that those things are no-brainer and that you'll be helpful and that you'll stay only the appropriate amount of time, you'll be sensitive to those things. Women, we have a voice, we're strong, we can say it's time for you to go, or yes, I would really like you to. I had my sister-in-law come over and braid my hair, and that was the best thing, one of the best things that anyone ever did for me postpartum. Anyways, so yeah.
I just remember my mom came down when I was in the very, very thick of it, and I felt so bad because I woke her up after the baby had eaten at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I just left her with my baby, and I felt so bad because I had woke her up and I knew she was gonna be tired that day, but moms, you have to realize my mom was gonna go home and get a full night's sleep, and she's been getting full nights of sleep for 6 weeks. She can lose sleep one night. And she had offered to do that, and she wouldn't have offered if she wasn't comfortable doing it. And it's okay to have people help you.
Yeah. If they offer and they don't really mean it, it's their bad.
Yeah. Yep. Sucks to suck. That's all.
Okay. What were you gonna change topics to?
How do you take care of yourself and the baby at the same time?
You get a Perry bottle and squirt your hoo-ha. So, no, I'm just kidding.
Also, how many jokes did you hear about wearing diapers?
A lot. I wore diapers for one day.
Yeah, I had a C-section. I remember I went to I have a box of old lady Depends sitting on my kitchen table that I never used. But also don't joke about it, because that's a reality for a lot of women. Yeah. And it's not if you make light of it, it doesn't make it more comfortable. It doesn't make it easier when you have to put a diaper on to think, oh, all these women joke about it, so it's fine. That is just how it is.
Yeah. How do you take care of yourself and your baby? Well, first of all, I don't know. Because you don't, and you don't need to. Granted, I know some women live far away from their families or don't have a relationship with their families, or I had a friend who moved right after she gave birth, so it wasn't like she had a good old relief society or
people that she trusted.
Knew. So that's really tricky. But at the same time, like, you are in survival mode, and so
just survive.
I don't know what to say.
No,
I don't know
that's
what
so
to say.
true. I would say
just stop talking for a second. Okay.
Do whatever you have to do to make you feel like a normal person. I remember like a few days after we got home, I like got dressed up and put lipstick on and we went to Target, and there was some women who were like, you had a baby 3 days ago, go home, get in bed. But for me, I had to get out of the house. I had to feel like there was some part of my old life that I could still hold on to because everything was different. With saying that, just know that whatever you see on Instagram, like, there is a million things happening behind the scenes that you don't know. So yeah, Meghan Markle might be in that like white dress, beautiful, walking out of the hospital, but I bet you $1 million she sat on her couch and cried and cried and cried and cried for a little while too.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what to say.
Just find someone that you can talk to.
Yeah.
About everything.
Yeah.
Like, Liv, this is probably your 3rd trip to my house.
Yeah.
Yeah. And every time we just talk for like a few hours about like, this sucks. This part is really hard.
Yeah.
This part is awesome.
I'm like almost 5 months postpartum, and I'm like, I should stop talking about my birth as much as I do, or I should stop talking about postpartum or all these things. But why? Like, this is a huge thing that I'm still processing.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there's some people who don't want to hear it, so I don't talk to them about it. But yeah, I have people who care and they want to hear about it. And So.
And for me, it's so nice to say, this sucks. This is really hard. And to have Liv be like, yeah, that was really hard. I struggled with it too, but there's like a light at the end of the tunnel also.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. And sometimes it's like, it still sucks. So just get used to it, which is also okay.
Yeah.
Okay, any
Anything
last
else?
thoughts, testimonies, words of advice?
Let me just double check our questions really quick. All the things. That's really weird. Yeah. Just be so kind to yourself. Don't have too many crazy expectations.
Yeah.
Just know that it's gonna be difficult and hard, and so be kind to the mothers around you and ask for help. And oh gosh, we could just keep talking forever and ever and ever, and maybe we'll do this again. So if we didn't cover anything, send us the questions again or ask again.
Yeah, really, I feel like part of my like calling in life is, well, this has just happened so often that I get into a situation and I'm like, this is not real life. This is not how I thought it would be. This is not how it should be. Like, why are we making things harder for ourselves than they need to be? And I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it. I want to talk about why it's hard and why we are making it harder on ourselves than it needs to be.
Yeah.
And hopefully that helps you not have such a hard experience.
Yeah. You don't have to start a Facebook Live, but go talk to somebody.
Yeah. And if you
about your own experience or about their experience.
Mm-hmm. And if I don't know you from Eve and you need someone to talk to, like, just message me. And I'm sure Liv feels the same way.
Yeah.
Because it's so hard, and it's even harder when you feel like you're totally alone.
Mm-hmm. So cheers to babies.
Yeah. Look, I'll show you Charlotte because she's so cute. And that will just help us end on a happy note. Look how cute. Okay. We love babies, and we love being moms.
And we know we are # so blessed.
Yeah. So blessed. Okay. We love you. Thanks for watching. I'm going to end this as soon as I figure out how. Okay, bye.